Hello everyone and welcome to another uneven asphalt Lewis Hamilton reference lap, and this time you'll find us at the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit, not the Nordschleife. Um, to put in better terms, and since I can't really use curse words because I tagged this as children could watch this one was terrible. Took me 3 sittings to finally get the lap together. I did have it, I just couldn't string it together for one reason or another, and as you'll actually see up here, I was literally within 200ths of beating him. I just couldn't do it. So, as always, we'll play the lap in full, then I'll break down corner by corner. And a little spoiler alert, Lewis is very, very weak at one portion of this circuit. Yes, you heard me right. And we will get to that when it comes. So, without further ado, here's the lap in full.
Wow, where did that come from? Mega lap.
And there we have it, a 155.272, just edging out Lewis by a little less than a tenth. So let's get started. Okay, so I kind of fast forwarded to about to be at the first corner. Now I watched a lot of replays and I noticed that a lot of people, when they were going from their 3 to 2 shift, they already were starting to turn. I just could not compute it in my memory for whatever reason to do that. Either that or when I did, I cut the course too much. I kind of did it a little bit later and it was more comfortable for me to do it. I'll let you decide how you want to approach this corner, but mainly as soon as this road runs off, and I'll actually fast forward a little bit, there's a little patch of road that has a different color right here. Right. So as soon as you're about to approach it, start braking. I notice people brake after, and I don't know how they're slowing the car down in time. I kept overshooting, this corner down here. So brake just about when you're about to hit this little patch of changing tarmac. And just aim for the apex out here. As so. Now, be gentle on the throttle. Lewis doesn't really get a good exit. So I kept it in second. I noticed in his replay he kept it down to first and then went up to second, but I found that there's better traction in second. Now heading up to this, you don't want a lot of brake, you just want a very, very little, and you want to hug the inside as as you're about to see here. So a little bit of brake, hug, hug, hug. Now this one, you kind of have to guess. I kind of use this orange thing as a reference, basically, when I'm squared up with it. I'll just start diving in and turning. It's up to you. It all depends on how you get out of this corner. Sometimes you might have to wait a little bit more. Sometimes you could get on the gas even sooner than I was able to. You don't want to get all four on the other side because then you're definitely going to have dirty tires and there goes your lap. So, see here. Now, I'll back it up just a hair. Kind of like before cars width of the change between this AstroTurf over here and I guess you could call this tarmac. I kind of start braking and I'm already turning in to aim for this. You want to stay up alongside this because you want to set yourself up for this corner over here on the exit because you have a little bit of a straightaway and you can actually gain time on Lewis here. So this corner is just about setting up for the next one. See, I'm keeping it nice and tidy, nice and tidy. Now I short shift here, just getting a little bit more traction. Now the game doesn't penalize you, and I want to bring it back to show you something important. If you kind of stay about here, you'll be fine. Any wider, I found that your tires get dirty, you lose grip, and then going into the downhill left, that's going to be your next corner, you basically have no grip, and whatever advantage you gain or about to gain, you're going to lose it. So just kind of stay. You can use some of that runoff, but try to stay within the limits. As soon as that axe is forward, I do apologize for going back. There is a lot going on. Actually, nope. Yep. So right when the end of this access road is about to end, I start braking and I immediately just dive for the inside corner over here. This corner is a little bit banked, so you could use that to your advantage to roll the car in. And again, you want to set up this corner to get a best exit out of this corner to set yourself up for the little straight. So down to third, keep it nice and tidy. Now, this part is one of the tricky spots. I kind of brake somewhere in between after this starts and before this ends. And it kind of all depends upon your line, your speed. You just have to feel it out, to be honest. I wish I could give you a straight answer. There's really no straight answer for this. You just kind of have to feel it out. But as a reference, it's kind of like after the curb on the right here starts and before the curb on the left here ends is your braking. Let the car roll. This track is, if what teaches you one thing, which it taught me a lot, is about rolling through the corner. So back over here, pause it right here. You see this little patch of grass? You just want to brake right before you hit it with the front. And this one, again, you just want to aim for the inside of the corner because naturally the car will kind of push you out a little bit wide. And basically the line you're going to take is a in, out, in approach to set yourself up to late apex, the second part of this, and shoot up through the Schumacher S's. So downshift to second, just aim for the inside, just again let the car roll. It'll come back out a little bit. Once it kind of tucks back in to the next apex, then you want to start giving it some gas. See, out, and then back in, roll on the gas. Now we're pretty much dead heat with Lewis. Now for the Schumacher S's, there is no grip. Before you turn the steering wheel, so Lewis actually kind of stays like off these curves. I try to use these curves. It's up to you which one you're more comfortable with. Just back off the throttle. You don't need to brake. You'll lose too much time. Back off the throttle. Kind of come halfway before you hit the apex for this one. And once just before you hit the apex, then give it gas and you should have enough grip to carry yourself through those Schumacher S's full throttle. See, apex. Now for this next corner over here, kind of want to brake somewhere in between this access road over here, a little closer towards the 100. I'll move it just a hair. Yeah, so it's kind of somewhere in between this road, to be honest. It's probably like halfway that I start braking. Um, I seen some people go to third. I seen some people go to second. I was able to keep it in third, but again, it's whatever you're more comfortable with. I would probably use second if you need to scrub a little bit more speed off than what you currently have. So, again, aim to the inside, gently roll back on the gas. Now this you want to nail because this is kind of the start of Lewis's downfall, that you could gain up time. He doesn't particularly get a good exit out of here. As you see here, I particularly won't get a good entry into this, but I kind of make it up with all the speed I carry back. So kind of determine where you're best suited. You either might have to sacrifice a little bit here to get the most on the exit, or you may have to lift at the end just to kind of nail it. It's a very narrow margin. Even if you get two wheels on a gravel out here, it's going to suck you in. So just keep that in mind. Now you see here, I lose almost 2/10, and then I'm about to gain it back on Lewis. We're about even basically. Now, this is his weakness, this little bus stop chicane over here. You kind of have to dance with the devil, so to speak, and allow me to explain. You can kind of shortcut the chicane. Lewis doesn't. However, it's a very, very fine margin between you getting it right, you missing your entry point, as I have so many times, and getting a penalty. One little tip I'll give you is that the penalty isn't as harsh at the first chicane over here than as the second. Basically, most of the car is on the latter half of the pylon that we're about to smack. You're going to get a penalty. I managed to just hit it square on, and I guess it was just within track limits to not get a penalty. So brake at the 100 board just before it, probably about, yeah, car's width, right? And then I should have turned in a little bit sooner, basically right before you go to second, turn into the chicane over here. You're gonna shortcut this, shortcut that, smack the pylon. Look at that. We went from about a 10th down to 2/10 up on Lewis. So theoretically, you could gain about 3 to 4/10 through the Schumacher, or not the Schumacher, it says the little bus stop chicane. Now this last part, you want to brake just before this first patch of, I guess, burned out grass ends. Now, just forewarning, I didn't particularly nail this corner well. I kind of backed off and was a little too tentative on it, but I had just enough of a gap to hold off Lewis. I consistently was losing about a 10th on Lewis on the last corner. I think only twice I actually was able to just match his speed. If not, maybe I was a couple hundreds down. But brake just before this patch, turn in. You want to basically set yourself up for the exit. Now, I almost threw it away. And as you see, we're just going to edge Lewis out.
Wow.
And that is a lap of the Nurburgring Grand Prix Circuit. If you like what you see, give me a like, subscribe. I'll have more. I actually just beat League Majority too, so that will be up next. And thanks for watching.